Hello, everyone. This is Alain Tremblay and Carol Rock for the W Club event.
Hi, Len. Just rocking out to that little intro that you have going on.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Hi, W Club members. So excited to have you join us from all over the world. Good evening, good morning, good noon, good afternoon, good night. And by the way, I want to wish a very happy Hanukkah to anybody who is celebrating this evening. Alen, so excited to have this W Club event here at Obsession. Obviously, we have been obsessed with what we've seen so far, but this really is a special event for us, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And I think I don't want to I think that might be a record of attendance this year. I think we've got our biggest W Club event ever.
I think we have. I think we have with this fantastic group here. So we're going to kind of just wind things back a little bit, because not only is this the first time that many of you are joining us at convention with the W Club event, we have so many new members this year. Like, this may be your first time that you're seeing us. You may not know who we are. So I'm Carol Roth. I am the founder of the W Club. We are now going on our 16th year, and our function's a little bit different, as you may have figured out, than sort of a typical doll club. We are sort of the collector's voice at the table for Integrity Toys. So not only do we do our best to take care of you and give you fun perks and experiences, but we're also gathering your feedback and advocating for you within the company, as Integrity Toys is really one of the only companies that has been designed as customer centric. So we're very privileged to do that. And Alen is my wonderful co-host for the evening, but he is the head of the convention. So congratulations on all you've done so far. The marketing director for Integrity Toys, who works so closely with the club so that we get all of our great information. And Alen, what are the 19 other things that you do for the company?
I was going to introduce myself on that Trixie. It's like, hi, I'm the guy who doesn't remember what he had for breakfast, Alain Tremblay. But yeah, no, I mean, I design your packaging. I now do lovely 3D printing stuff. I do, my God, accessories with the guys,
technology, troubleshooting,
with every single design team member, with you guys, with the club, with been at it for a long time with my friend Vaughn, with Jason, with the Newsom family. Been with Integrity for almost 21 years of their 26 years in existence. So yeah, been around the block.
in more ways than one.
Exactly.
So at any rate, this is a little bit different for us. Obviously, we had an event last year, was our first virtual convention. This is our second one. We moved everything around this year, so this is the first time having it on Friday night. We may be a little discombobulated because we're not used to sort of the flow, so please bear with us as we figure this out. And the way that this event came about, which I always think is a fun story, and some of you have heard this now probably like more than a dozen times, but this came about during one of our conventions where Alen said, oh, it'd be really fun to have a workshop. Is there anything that you can do, Carol, that you'd like to do?
Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
And I'm like, I can eat.
So it became an eating workshop. Yes.
An eating workshop, which became a lunch, which became an event. Obviously, we don't have any food for you this evening, but hopefully you will have a beverage or some food, or
a cocktail.
We will delight your palates with some delicious stuff.
It's evening up here in North America, like in pretty much all of North America. So have a cocktail.
Yeah, why not?
It's 5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Right,
exactly.
All right, so we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping again, since this is the first time that some of you are hearing this, and some of you just need to hear this again. This is a confidential presentation, and it is meant just for the attendees here at the W Club event. Do not screenshot, do not share, do not take little pictures of this particular presentation and share it anywhere. We will send you a recap afterwards, kind of like we did this morning, that will have shareable information, but this information is going to remain confidential until we finish up the presentation, to try and preserve the experience for those of you who paid to be here. On the topic of experience, we talked about this a little bit this morning. I want to reiterate it again today, is we understand that not every doll, not every line, and not every designer is for everybody, but we're all part of creating an amazing experience here. So if there's something that you don't like, that's totally fine. But remember the way that you communicate things. We don't want to drag down everybody else's experience because we have 13, well, no, actually at this particular event, we have like 2,700 plus members, something like that.
That's a lot. Like
it's a lot. Members from all over the world, every time zone, every different background. So like, please be respectful, and hopefully we'll have a fantastic time. And one of the things you're going to get a chance to do is hear from the designers in a bit. And because we asked you guys via the W Club to put questions forth, probably a couple months ago now, and many of those people did, we're going to defer to the questions that were submitted officially for the designers. So if you're asking questions on the side, the chances are we probably aren't going to be able to do that, but you just never know. But I'm super excited. Alen, are you super excited?
I'm super excited, but before we move on with the excitement, I just want to make a few announcements, technical things, like, you know, like with, of course, it's our second time using the convention platform that we're using. So like, there's a few things that came up today.
And just to interrupt
only for the people that got the convention.
Thank you.
I don't want to confuse anyone and add to the general confusion. But if you own a main convention package and have not purchased the pre-ordered the convention collection, and you're trying to view that category where all the items are, if the items are not all appearing, there's a button on the side of the shopping cart that says show product. You're only going to see this after you've logged into the shopping cart into the same account that you've used to purchase your convention ticket. So once you do this, you click on the link that we sent to you as a main convention package owner by email today. Click on the link to view the category, and if the products don't all appear and you haven't bought all of them already, then yeah, just click on show products and they will appear. It's very easy to see show product will be like on the edge of your left-hand side of the screen. But I think I'm reversed right now, so left-hand side.
I don't know which side. I don't know my left from my right. So I can't help you out. I can't help you out there. Yes. Also, just to reiterate the housekeeping for this particular event, we do have 2 dolls that are associated with the event, which we've told you about. In a few hot minutes here, we are going to unveil what we call the quote-unquote centerpiece. Obviously, we don't have anything to put it in the center of, but this comes from the physical conventions that usually when you walk into the ballroom, it's sitting on the table. This is the one that you have the opportunity to purchase. It's not included in the price of your ticket, but the opportunity is just limited to the people who did buy a ticket. That means you who's watching this. So the quote unquote centerpiece, which we will unveil first, is the one that you will have the opportunity to purchase. And then at the end of the event, after we talk to the designers, we will show you your souvenir doll. That is something that is included in the price of this event, and all you'll have to do is click on it and pay for shipping. So we'll send you those links after the event. I'll probably reiterate this again just in case there's any questions. And that's how that will work, and that's separate from what Alen was just talking about, which was related to the convention this morning. So,
and of course, like centerpiece, maybe right now in our virtual sort of context, could be like the centerpiece of your screen.
I think it's good. I don't know. So I can see your guys chat now. So are you guys ready to see the first doll, to see that quote unquote centerpiece that you have the opportunity to buy? Now, before you jump ahead, Alen, on me,
I will.
Let's just kind of talk through the inspiration here. So for those of you who saw the recap email or who were with us this morning, we talked through how in New Face, Jesse was inspired by athletics and kind of like different activities that one could do, and so he's carrying that theme into this particular event. So that's, and
we also discussed that Alen doesn't do sports metaphors, so Carol will explain this all to you. I'm out.
All right, so with that, so if you have any questions about the sports, you can direct them to me and not to Alen later.
Exactly.
So with that,
always a good idea.
Are you guys ready? Let's take a drum roll.
Yeah, Reynolds.
And we we have MVP Reina, who is absolutely fantastic, and she was inspired by the sport of football. This would be American football for Alen and those of you who are in Europe who tend to call football soccer. This is the American football.
Okay.
And she is absolutely gorgeous. Alen, let's go to the close-up of her.
Well, first of all, just say what does MVP mean for, like, because
most valuable player.
Most valuable. There you go.
So she might be the most valuable pretty in this particular one, but she is the most valuable player, and she's just absolutely gorgeous. I know that Reina is a favorite of club members, and Jesse obviously likes to make you guys make sure that you have some of your favorite characters. So she's absolutely gorgeous. She has the Japan skin tone, and she has copper hair. And what I love about this incarnation of Reina is so versatile. I feel like she's always gorgeous, but she always looks slightly different. And I love this incarnation with the kind of more neutral lip and makeup, which gives her that fantastic redressing possibility.
Absolutely. Yes. She's so I mean, let's look at the look again. So, like,
yes. Okay, so let me explain this.
Yes. I get it.
Let me explain it in terms of the sport.
Of the sport, yes.
Okay, so in terms of the references here, this is so clever. We'll talk to Jesse later, so he can talk a little bit about it, but so clever. So obviously that pant is a football inspired pant, but in these really beautiful contrasting colors, the hot pink and the orange piping with the more neutral base color. She has that wonderful I think it's a bodysuit top. We'll let Jesse kind of go through all of that. And then again, to echo the silhouette of a football player, she has this sort of oversized jacket that has the shoulders that sort of give you that feeling of what a football player might have if he was going on the field with his pads. And then these adorable shoes and a purse that's sort of meant to, again, give that wink nod to football. So really, again, taking this inspiration that is, sport and something you don't think of, and just elevating it to this haute couture moment, which is so fabulous.
Yes, you did a great job with those, Carol. Bravo.
Do you feel like you understand the sport a little bit better?
I get it now. I want to watch all these guys wearing all these outfits. Absolutely.
Okay, so go to the next
you
slide.
Sold me. There you go.
So we can get a close-up on the accessories, and she's just fabulous. And by the way, the two little, long ponytails with the copper hair is just absolutely fantastic. So the edition size for this is going to be determined because you guys each have the opportunity to decide if you would like to order one. The pricing is $175, and I think, is there a pre-order deposit for this, or how are we doing that?
$35.
Okay.
And also, so I want to point out some things you guys are seeing right now on the accessory shot. So just like the two other New Face dolls that we unveiled to the main convention package owners this morning, she does come with 2 different sets of lower legs. So these are the very first sort of slip-on shoes that we've created that will now fit the flat feet that we've started doing maybe a few years ago. So now we're starting to explore, like, with brand new sculpted, like the base is injection molded. So, like, now you get to have cute shoes that fit the flat feet. So this doll, or if you want to redress the doll we didn't include a second pair of shoes, but you do get the lower bottom leg with the normal fashion royalty high-heeled foot. So, like, this doll has a ton of redress possibility. You'll be able to use her with any of your existing shoes or, like, your other outfits. So, like, it's more value for your buck.
And do you have a little video perhaps of her so we can kind of see what she looks like in the flesh? I know Jesse was playing with her a little bit, so get to see. And obviously this is the prototype, but get a chance to kind of see. And I love the fact that 2 little hair ponytails kind of come together with this beautiful long hair in the back. And she's one of those dolls that just pops so much more. I mean, look at her give face there. Oh my God.
I love the deconstructed, like, edges, like, on the jacket. Also, like, it's very, like, on trend, like, very, like you said, like, the big shoulders. Like, you do get the vibe. I do get the football vibe. I totally get it. Yeah, you don't have to explain it to me. I get it.
Yeah, no, it's so fun. And I know that Tracy, who some of you know, who is on the liaison team, like she's been talking about wanting those kinds of football pants forever. So I know she's going to be incredibly jealous of Raina, but really, aren't we all? So we will obviously get to hear from Jesse. And so I guess with that, we probably want to hear with all of the designers, and we'll get a chance to talk to them and talk more about dolls, and then do some more unveiling later. What do you think?
Absolutely. Then we'll come back. Yes, absolutely.
All right.
That's
So
let
us bring in our fabulous design team. We'll do a little Brady Bunch here.
Okay, so here's Chris, here's David, here's Mark, here's Vaughn, and here's Jesse.
Yay!
Hey guys.
Hi.
A huge welcome to our design team. Obviously, you are the heart and soul of why everybody is here with your beautiful creations. As I've said, there are a lot of people here who haven't gotten a chance to hear from you or don't get a chance to know you, may not know anything about you with some of our new collectors. So I'm just going to go around the screen here and ask you guys to briefly introduce yourselves and also just tell us a little bit of your background, how you came to Integrity Toys. So Vaughn, let's kick things off with you and your beautifully shaved face.
Okay. So I started with Integrity back in 2001. I kind of got the job through LA. He was going to New York to meet with Jason and Percy for an interview, and he was like, hey, why don't you come with me? And, you know, you could show them what you do, because LA and I used to be in adult club together.
And he kind of looked at me and went, are you crazy? Yes, I remember that too.
So anyways, I went, met with Jason and Percy, and yeah, they gave me a job as a part-time freelance pattern maker, sample maker, and I did that for a few years. And then at some point, Jason was like, hey, why don't you move to New York and work with us full-time? And so I did. And then I worked with Jason predominantly on FR, New Face, and pretty much everything else that we did back then, like the Monsieur Z, Playline, like
all of the licensed products.
Yeah, all the licensed stuff, the RuPaul,
the first RuPaul,
like everything. And
what do you work on today, Vaughn?
Now I work on Meteor and Monarch, and except for the last 2 years, normally I would be in China also kind of helping and overseeing production.
And also one of our most important licenses, which you knock it out of the park.
Oh, yeah. And Gem and the Holograms.
Yay. All right. Well, it's great to have you here. Jesse Ayala, tell us a little bit about how you came to IT, and for anybody who's living under a rock, what it is that you do.
I feel like I'm like Elaine. I don't even remember what I had for breakfast either. But like, I want to say that I started officially like in 2013-ish. Vaughn, do you remember exactly?
I think it was 2012.
At the end of 2012, maybe.
End of 2012.
And I came in, I did freelance face painting, and then I started coming in, helping Vaughn with like sketches and just revision comments, stuff that he was working on with Jason, all the other guys. And yeah, so that's just how it kind of snowballed. I'm like, oh wait, I'm getting more and more sketches. And then I started working on the My Little Pony license. I helped Vaughn with some ITBEs. Then I started doing New Face in like 2016, 17. With the Reckless collection. Girl, my dates blur together. But yeah. And now I do New Face and Fashion Royalty. So
yay. All right, Chris, tell us your story.
Well, used to do a lot of like one-of-a-kind things for Gene and various other things, and had a couple articles in Oat Doll magazine. And apparently Vaughn and Jason saw the articles, and I got an email from you, Carol, with this disguised
cryptic
test. Yes, it was, would you like to do some outfits for a photo shoot we're doing for one of our new dolls? And I said, absolutely. So I did them. And then I got an email, well, we aren't going to use them for the article, but we'd like to buy them and use them. Would you be interested in freelancing for us? And that's when I started doing that. And then I think, what was it? 2010, I believe. 2009, 2010, I came on full time. And I've been full time ever since. And kept bugging for my own line. So I created Victoire. And luckily, I'm still, working with her. And, now I'm doing East 59th. So
amazing.
Lots
Thank you, David.
Well, I started in 2006 officially. I think before that, I was a graphic designer and I was a doll customizer. So Jason had seen an advertisement that I was working on another project for another doll, and he really liked it. But at the same time, you needed someone to lay out the old W Club newsletter. And then if we go really far back, in 2001, I met Alain and Vaughn at a convention. And then we became friends. And then I stayed friends with them until I started with Integrity in 2006. So it's all been intertwined friendship, working together relationship for a very long 20 years now. So it's kind of mind-boggling. But I started doing graphic design for the company. I worked, and then I started doing Playline with Vaughn. So Vaughn and I worked together exclusively pretty much. And Jason would call me late at night and discuss some projects. And then started on Dynamite Girls at some point in there. And then we did Misaki. So I started working on Misaki with Vaughn. And then in 2009 or 2008, we started development on a little doll called Poppy Parker. And then she came out in 2009. So that was Vaughn and Jason and myself discussing what we were going to do with the new doll line. So, and then since then, I've worked on Poppy and Dynamite Girls and Misaki and
the industry,
a little doll called Trixie Mattel. So it's been fun. It's been a really fun 20 years, all together, friendship and working for the last 15. So.
Fabulous. And Mark, obviously some of these folks got a chance to meet you this morning, but for those who didn't, just give us a little recap.
Yeah, so I was introduced to Integrity and most of these guys at the first Gene convention that Integrity did, which was 2007, I think. And that's when I met Vaughn and Alain and David. And then a few years later, met Chris at another Gene convention. And I met you at that first Gene convention, Carol. And yeah, so I was a collector. I used to come to the conventions and enter the competitions and do all that stuff. And then would just work on stuff. I did one freelance thing that Vaughn had called me that they needed some help on. And then a few years later, go to like 2015, I think it was, I started as freelance doing pattern making and sample making. And now I'm full time. So.
And remind everybody the wonderful things that you're working on.
So I do, this year I did the new fantasy collection, which you've seen 2 of the dolls so far. And I've designed in the past several collections for Misaki, and I'm going back to designing Misaki. So, and I also worked on that little Trixie doll with David, so.
Yeah. Amazing. All right. And Alain, obviously we got to hear a little bit from you. So with those introductions, I want to dive into the questions. And as I mentioned, we put this out to the broader W Club probably a couple months ago, and we got so many questions back. So I'm going to try to get to as many of these as possible. So brace yourselves.
Can't wait. Shoot up.
Vaughn, I want to kick things off with you. Obviously, we've had some different production and design challenges last year during the pandemic, and 2021 was not any kinder to us. Given the fact that you are so close to this, can you just kind of give everybody an overview of some of the biggest challenges that we've faced as a company?
Sure. So, I mean, like every other company, there are a lot of global issues to deal with. There are shipping issues. There are bottleneck issues with the factories where they can't necessarily get all the raw materials that they need to produce. So everything is just kind of backed up. And that's basically where we are. It's like everything is just backed up. Hopefully, once supply chains improve, shipping improves, and all of that, things will go back to normal. But we don't really know when that will be.
Yeah, it's got to have been a really difficult time, and we appreciate the collector base sticking with the company and having patience. As you know, this is not something that's just affecting Integrity Toys. This is affecting pretty much every company around the globe. More so the ones I think who depend on China and some international locations, but even companies that are all made in America are facing these issues. So appreciate it. I know it's been challenging. You haven't been back to China in how long?
Since October of 2019. That was
Wow.
the last time I left.
Okay. So yeah, so hopefully we'll get that resolved, but we'll keep our fingers crossed on that one. David, we're going to hear a lot from you tomorrow on Poppy Parker, but we did get some questions. So I want to put in one from Patrick Carter. What does the future of Poppy Parker hold? We saw her enter the 70s last year. Will we see her in different timelines?
Yeah, I mean, within her time frame, which is early 60s to early 70s, creeping into the later 70s, we kind of went that direction last year with sort of that Charlie's Angels referenced club doll we did. So yeah, I mean, she will kind of time travel back and forth, and I always kind of, I always do like a modern twist on vintage to begin with, to keep things a little bit fresh and to appeal to a modern eye. I always kind of give something like a little bit more modern pieces maybe than what would actually be given to Poppy at the time. So yeah, I'll still continue to jump back and forth and
play a little bit, or looking forward to that.
I don't think we'll like do 80s or 90s, but never say never. You never know what could happen.
I mean, the 80s, we got a little Xanadu action going on.
True. I mean, Chris did a wonderful job with the Victoire going into the 90s. Like,
yeah.
So
thank you.
Yeah, it was fantastic, Chris. So I wouldn't have a problem doing something like that. It would just need to be the right moment, the right project.
Poppy'd be cute with gray hair.
All right, Jesse, I've got a couple of questions for you. And by the way, club members, if I botch your name, sincere apologies. I'm doing the best based on what you put into the forums. Elizabeth Gonzalez asks, would you ever consider making an all-black doll collection?
What do you mean, like in terms of ethnicity?
Yeah, so like basically like all like in one capsule collection or one full line that all of the dolls were of color.
I mean, I think that would be pretty cool to do, and you can have all your strong black sculpts and all in one place, or just have them all to be Naja. That would be great. Okay. I'd be down for that. But I just feel like that's also Vaughn's territory in a way, because I think his collections are very Afrocentric, and I think that's what makes like Meteor, for example, really special. So I wouldn't want to steal that kind of thunder, I guess.
All right. But, I mean, so a definite maybe.
Yeah. Well, also the company is about variety. So like we try to include everyone, every ethnicity, every personality. Like, I think we're pretty varied in our offering in general. I think that's what the Integrity Toys stands for, right?
So, yeah. So to that end, we've got a question from Luxus Friday for you, Jesse. Will we see more Asian representation in New Face?
In New Face, I actually am working on a couple new characters. I've been trying to get them out for a while now, but stuff just keeps happening. But I want to wait till the right time to actually unveil them. But I think it's pretty exciting once you guys see.
Well, given the reception to your last new character, that's a little morsel for you guys to snack on. And then Elizabeth Gonzalez had also asked, would you ever do New Face and Fashion Royalty combined?
I mean, I feel like sometimes they bounce off each other. They're very much sister lines, and they offer different facets you know, within their own collections. Like, I don't know if I would fully combine them, because sometimes I feel that stuff that's suited for FR is not really, I don't know, with the characters and all that. I don't know. It just depends.
All right. Chris, we're going to come to you. Amélie Grenier, when will Victoire Roux's husband's identity be revealed?
Well, I have heard that question quite often, and to be perfectly frank, the idea of her having a husband was really kind of a storyline just so I could do a bride. But by the same token, I'm not opposed at some point to doing it, but it's not in the plans right at the moment.
All right, so he will remain a man of mystery.
For now,
is it possible she just staged the whole thing?
Well, you know, she is very dramatic. She is very dramatic, so it's possible.
Stay
I
tuned.
wouldn't put it past her. Yeah,
Stay
exactly.
tuned. And then obviously you did that fantastic doll, the Black Ice Victoire, in the collection. You didn't get a chance to explain your inspiration. We tried to do it for you, but is there anything that you want to say about that?
Well, just that there was a very special show in '95. Tara Mugler did, I think it was an anniversary show, if I'm not mistaken, but it was 1995. And it was filmed for television. So it's just this big production, and everybody and their cousin, all these famous women modeled in the show. And I've just always loved it since I saw it to begin with. And I've always wanted to kind of do something with it. And this doll was a result of that. It was completely inspired by that, the feeling of that show, and like silhouettes that he showed, because his things were always kind of like a hyper version of the 50s. So it's sort of like the 50s on speed. So I thought, well, it's perfect. I'll just do her like Carmen, coming back to modeling after many, many years. So gray hair, you know, she's an older Victoire, but, you know, still just as beautiful and can rock a catsuit.
Yeah, no, I mean, amazing. And she actually,
and that face is tight.
Yeah, I was going to say, she reads very youthful. She had some plastic work. Well, she was amazing. So kudos to that. Vaughn, question from Scott for you. Who designs the jewelry and how is it made?
Well, pretty much each designer designs their own jewelry. And generally we source different things from different places, and then we send like a picture of the jewelry with specs to China, and they duplicate it.
And then you go back and forth 25 times until you're happy.
Actually, with the jewelry, there's not that much that we go back and forth on. The guy that does the jewelry is actually pretty good, so I don't think we go back and forth on jewelry as much as we do with other things, like, you know, face paint, hairstyles, skin tones,
clothing, accessories, shoes, purses.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. Mark, we've had some fabulous new fantasy dolls that we've seen from you, and then obviously the gorgeous Welcome doll. What's ahead for the new fantasy series? Is there any little tidbit you can give us of what we might see for the rest of the line?
Yeah, so there's 2 more dolls coming out, and I love seeing everybody's speculations on stuff. And I can say that pretty much anything that I've seen, no one's guessed it, so they're all wrong. So that's kind of fun. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's not really a whole lot I can say without telling you exactly what sculpts they're going to be. There is another doll of color coming. Who's really, really good. Like, I love her. I love the last 2 are really great. So, yeah, they just have lots of good stuff, lots of details, lots of sparkle, some drama. Yeah, right. I don't know how much to like, because otherwise, if I say more, it's gonna give I'm left with just telling you who they are and what they're wearing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I want to turn to face screenings. We got a ton of questions from King's Place Apartments, from Toy Doy, from a whole bunch of folks. So, David, I'm going to start with you. Will we see some of the early poppy face paints make a comeback? And is it possible to maybe get somebody who's specializing in face paints? Why are we seeing so many of the same ones?
Well, right now we're sort of limited by production. And so I'm having to use like a handful of screenings that we've used recently. So I tend to go back and use, I have like 3 or 4 that I currently can use. And then the earlier ones, those are just on hold for right now until we've kind of lost them and we may have to recreate them. And, you know, there's lots of issues. It's not a Darla thing where it fell and broke. It's not that kind of thing, but it's that I'm just limited by what we can do right now. And so unfortunately I'm using those 3 or 4 masks, but I'm mixing and matching so to get new looks, and hopefully soon we'll be able to open up more variations. So.
And Jesse, I know that you had some issues with this too, and people not realizing that because of production issues that you were limited to how many different face paints. So can you elaborate on that as well?
Well, there's only really one guy that specializes in making like these old school masks, so we have to kind of divvy up like his time amongst all the design team. So we're allotted certain amounts of brand new face paints per year. And honestly, for me, there's times where I work on some and I just have to start from scratch because it's not exactly to my liking or whatever. So I do the same thing where I mix and match screenings, or I'll add new components to give them a little bit of a different feel, but still keep like signature looks for FR and new face. But that's honestly that's one of my biggest, I guess, frustrations designing is, okay, I have to kind of really think about what my face screenings are going to be and make sure that they're ones that, you know, amplify the doll's beauty and all of that good stuff. But
yeah, and so I mean, obviously we're hopeful once we get past some of these global production issues, the company will allow the designers to have more flexibility and have more variety in terms of the face paints that they can use given any current year. But I thought it was important for you guys to know that it's not that the designers are just wanting to be repetitive, that it's, you know, that they're limited by production and by the company's constraints.
Yeah, if we did a new screening, it takes time and it adds to the production time. So for us to start from scratch, you're talking about adding another 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I've done one that's taken a year, and so you run the risk of like if you're going to use it for something that's, you know, time sensitive, you're like, oh, like this could look really good or really bad depending on like whatever extraneous ththings that are happening. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't even want to take that risk. It just depends, really, like.
And also, really, I read the boards, not just ours, but everything online, and I know what people want or like or whatever. And so I tend to use the face paints the eye screenings that I know are popular. So, and so I just tend to stick with those because, you know, until I can have more choices, it's just a safer bet. It's just it's an easier, you know, designing dolls is risky sometimes. It's scary. Like we all have these moments where it's like, are we making the right decisions? And, you know, it's like a lot of responsibility. You guys don't realize how stressful it can be. I mean, you think it's easy. Like you think, oh, it's designing a doll, but it's like, is this going to sell? Are they going to like it? Am I going to get trashed? You know, I mean, it's a lot. So we're not trying to make things that you don't want. You know, we really are trying our best to make a product that y'all are going to want and enjoy and love and all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, I was scared to death doing the you know, 90s Victoire. I mean, that's not my usual wheelhouse. So, you know, you do take that like, oh God, what if they don't like it?
Well, that was a risk that paid off. It was so beautiful, and appreciate you guys, and love the fact that you're willing to be so honest and vulnerable here, because I think that a lot of times, you know, people don't really think about it from the other perspective. Of course, you're trying to create things that people are going to like, and so it's just good to hear your spin on that. Alan, a question from Patrick Carter. He loves his dolls, but he feels guilty about the plastic packaging. How are you working, you know, in terms of keeping the environmental impact in mind as you design your packaging?
So we just ran a focus group recently, I believe, and that was one of the things that we looked into. And it's something it's been near and dear to me for a really long time, because it's obviously like I follow every single trend, and obviously helping the planet is not a trend. It's something that we have to do. So I am committed to it, but there is a fine balance that we need to hit between I'm giving you something that's wrapped in craft paper and it's 100% biodegradable and it helps like the planet and something that needs to protect the heirloom you're buying, like the expensive collectible, and gives you that Christmas morning feeling and gives you that, hey, I just bought something truly special that I'm going to want to keep for a really long time. So like I have been sitting down with the Newsom family and we've been talking about, hey, maybe we could do this tweak, maybe we could replace this thing with this, and like maybe we could remove this piece. Right now I'm hunting for disposable plastic, like one single-use plastic in our packaging. I am looking at that very, very closely, like the little plastic doodads that go behind the liners where like the ribbons are tied. Those, like, they have one purpose. Once you've received your dolls, most people throw those away. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm more worried about than the cardboard and everything. Like I'm looking into like chemicals, inks, ribbons, like all that stuff that, yes, it's really pretty, but it's all single time use. So like I can tell you that for the last 6 months, I've like really been looking into it. So in the near future, in a collection near you, you may be starting to see some changes in our packaging.
And since we're on the subject of packaging, I know there's always a lot of speculation and rumor on the boards that the packaging adds $40 or $50 to the cost of a doll. Would you like to address that?
I wish it did add $40 or $50 because then you would get like golden gilded boxes with my hand sculpted magic on it. But no, it doesn't. I mean, yes, there's a cost, you know, like if you buy like an expensive like electronic product, or like if you look at, let's say, your mobile phone that you've bought that has like that really nice like cardboard box with like a plastic tray, all those things have a cost for sure. Like I'd be lying, but it's not the cost. Like the cost, and Vaughn and I have said that so many times at this point that we sound like a broken record when we say it. The cost when you're buying any doll is in the outfit. So like the sewing, the craftsmanship, all of this has exploded in China in the last few years. Believe me, printing a box doesn't matter if I make it more like folded, more complicated, or has more colors on the box. Doesn't change anything. It's how elaborate, the amount of jewelry, the amount of accessories, like how complicated the sewing is. Obviously, that is where the price is in any doll Integrity Toys manufacturers, any company manufacturers. So like the little zippers we use, like the little anything, all of that stuff is where the money is. The packaging is this very small percentage.
No, I think
yeah.
Thank you for reiterating that. David, Amelie had asked, what is the big David Buttrey project that you and I talked about at the last year's convention? And I think we alluded to two. One of them obviously was Trixie, which we've already unveiled. But there is that vintage inspired one that we haven't talked about. So anything you want to say there?
It's coming very soon. So stay tuned.
And if he says anything, he's fired.
It's still coming. We don't know exactly when, but it looks amazing. Yeah. So we're very excited.
It's on a very slow boat from China.
Chris, what's next for East 59?
Ooh, well, I think I want to keep kind of pushing myself to do things that I haven't done before, whether that's silhouettes or colors or colorways that I haven't tried before. So I'm gonna try to keep doing pushing myself to do things that are a little out of the box. Also, really am committed to having a very diverse line. So you're going to see more additions in that vein as well.
So Vaughn, we've gotten a ton of questions about the male dolls. Paul Oliveira, Marty Balaveras, and some others want to know, will we see more in other lines like Meteor? Will we bring back Francisco? Like where are the boys?
The boys are in the works. I mean, yeah, I said during my chat that, you know, I do want to bring a boy into Meteor, but it's not going to happen, let's say, within the next year. But hopefully, if things in China get better and we, you know, deal with the bottleneck where everything's backed up, then, you know, we can expand things a little bit more. But for now, not so much.
And what about some of the favorite sculpts that people love? Do you think that we'll be seeing those again soon?
Not soon, but you will be seeing some of them again. Like Francisco and Pierre. I've been wanting to bring them back in, but yeah, it's just going to take a little bit of time.
They have to get their vaccines and their passports.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of paperwork, a visa that they need to deal with. So they got a little bit of time.
Yeah, they can't leave China right now.
They're on lockdown. All right. Alen, we got a question from Stephanie Thompson. Will we see another RuPaul doll in the future?
It's not in the plans. We just did Trixie. Like that was a very honestly, like I was really excited. Like we had a really good time with the Trixie project. Right now, like there's nothing in the works for RuPaul. Like I'm not gonna make any kind of like maybe not. I have no idea. But like right now, it's not in the works.
Licenses are very tricky because it's about working with the person, figuring out the licensing fee and how that's going to add into the cost of the doll, and then just fitting it in with the production schedule, seeing how they're going to participate. I mean, the Trixie project. I mean, guys, we've been working on that for what, like
18 months, I think.
18 months or something like that. We thought Trixie was going to launch in like April or May. So like that just kind of gives you a sense of, again, no fault of anybody's, just the realities that we're trying to deal with in terms of production and getting samples back and forth, what kind of delays were experienced.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it just falls back to what Vaughn and all the other guys are saying. It's that bottleneck, the worldwide bottleneck. Like as much as I would love to say the pandemic is over, it is not. And like it's the chain is still recuperating, trying to readjust. And every day it's a new thing. And like every time we do things like licenses, they kind of have a timer on them, if I can use that word. And right now it's very difficult because we can't meet any kind of timer. Like we can't meet, like everything takes so much longer than what we're used to. So that unfortunately, I think, yes, let's finish what we've started and let's get caught up.
In terms of not finishing what we've started, but what might be sort of a refresh, Alen, on that note, with the success of the basics, will we be seeing new ones of those in the future?
Oh, these little creative misters here on our little team have come up with like some beautiful, some of them are in the work, some of them we've seen already, but I haven't shown them. But yes, we have some absolutely gorgeous ones. And we also have a replenish coming in this winter, I believe, for the Malibu Sky Agnes that Jesse's designed. I think there's more. I know there's like another wave, like we said we would keep producing. Chris has 2 brand new dolls, the new ones coming in this spring. We've got a ton of surprises. We definitely have some more girl power coming in and maybe boy power, who knows?
Yeah, so that was actually a question. So Rosanna, Vidieri, Marty, they asked, Vaughn, will we ever see a male basic?
There's a possibility.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just want to reiterate too, because I know this has been an issue for those of you who didn't hear it on our previous W Club chats. The basics are dolls that go into production when the factory is not working on any other production. So they don't take away production slots from anything else. They are additive to the process. So that's why the timing of them is sort of all over the board, because they plug into those slots. So you don't have to worry about them taking away the time or the attention from anything else, which I think is important to note.
So they keep the busy bees going. So like once they finish one project, if they plug in a basic before they jump on to so we got to be patient. Like I said, the replenishment for Agnes and like some of the, I think the Lilith, and Poppy, and anyway, they're coming this winter. We do have them. Coming
All
down the pipe.
David, in terms of color variations, Patrick Carter wanted to know if you would be open to continuing that. We've seen some, color variations of dolls like Powder Puff. Is that something that you may be open to doing in the future with other dolls?
Yeah. I love doing it. I know some collectors were apprehensive, or not apprehensive, but like didn't understand it. But I come from a world of, I've collected fashion dolls my whole entire life. I'm not just a designer. I collect them. I've been a collector since I was like 8 or 9 years old. So I love variation clothing. Like it's in vintage fashion dolls. There's always variations in fabrics, and and my husband collects variations. So that's his deal with vintage dolls. So so for me, it's a fun thing, and so I love doing it. So like if I get an opportunity, I mean, one thing I was so close to doing was doing like a lime green showgirl to go with the other two. So I was like, I almost want to do like a third, or a yellow. A yellow would be good too. So I just love the idea of variation. So yes, the answer is yes. I would.
That is a resounding hell yes. While we have you, David, can you talk a little bit about what's going on with the industry, with Tula Bell, and will she ever get or what's going on with Tula Bell's Instagram account?
Oh yeah. Well, we are gearing up for sort of a refresh of the industry in Tula Bell. So for 2022, not for this year, obviously, because we're
Travis, take it away.
But we are ramping up to have a grand reintroduction to some fun stuff. So I know there are some very, very steadfast fans who've been wanting some Tula Bell and friends, and so hang on. They're coming.
She's a coming.
Mark and I are actually working together on this project. So we're both very excited. We have a lot of fresh ideas, and Mark's contributing like some great stuff. So stay tuned. And the Instagram page is going to be different too. So hold on. We're gonna do some little fine tuning and sharpening, and have a lot of fun. And so stay tuned. It'll be fun. It'll be great.
Amazing. All right, Jesse, a couple questions for you. Connie Kepper, who I know talked about on the board, and a number of other collectors have as well, love some of those vintage fashion royalty dolls that kind of are the over the top, like kind of real royalty, like Marie Antoinette inspired. Is there any consideration that you've given to doing something like that?
I go back and forth between wanting to do those types of looks, but I just feel those are better suited for, I don't know, something else, like somewhere along the lines of New Fantasy or something like that. But it's not to say that I wouldn't venture into doing that for special occasions or whatever.
Okay. And then from Russell Gates, will we see the twins, Lilith and Eden, for those of you who are not familiar, made in FR Black, A-tone, or Nubian skin tones?
It's possible. Maybe sooner than you think, but yes.
Oh, okay. Just saying. Little hint there.
Maybe.
Mark,
we've
heard a little bit about this, but what else is ahead for you design-wise?
Well, yeah, like David just mentioned, I'm going to be working with him on the sort of redo of the industry, which I'm super excited about because I love Tula Bell and that whole world. So working on that stuff. Working on a special thing I'm working on something really special that I don't know how much I can say about, so I'm not going to say about it. Yeah, and then Misaki. I'm doing. There's another Misaki that comes out that is in the same series as the Beast Girl and Retro Girl. So David did those two, and then I designed the third one in that series, and she's going to be coming out. I don't know when, because I haven't.
Nobody knows when, Mark.
Nobody knows. Well, but I haven't even approved her face yet because like her outfit's approved, but I have to see. I changed her face again, so I need to see the new face. But
she's super cute though.
She's really cute. Oh my gosh, yeah, I love her so much.
Carol, you would love her.
I can't wait to see. I have not gotten a sneak peek,
dude,
so
I want to say.
Have to bug you guys.
So bad, but I can't. And she's right over there too. Like I could, but I can't do it. So I have that, and then all of the Misakis for 2022. They're all designed. I have the ones ready to send off to sample to have China start working on it. So yeah, I'm busy.
Love it. Love it. All right. A couple convention questions, and then we're going to kind of get into our quick fire and wrap with you guys. Alen, Nace Gonzalez, the question is for you as a convention planner. Will we ever get a dark goth themed convention again, like Dark Romance?
Nothing is out. Yeah, maybe. Like, it depends on these gentlemen. Like, you know, like if the mood strikes the trend, like, I don't even know if that's an expression, but like if the, you know, if it suits it, if it's something that collectively, like, because we all sit down and have like a retreat every year, and this is where we decide what themes we're going to be doing for conventions. So like we brainstorm. Usually we'll like obsession, like we basically try to see what we all like, and like we need to jive together. So if that's one of the themes that, you know, strikes everyone's fancy, it might come back. You never know.
And then speaking of that, Donnie Braga asked the multi-million-dollar question: will there be a live convention next year?
Hey,
and how are you gonna figure that
out? We're just waiting and see. I mean, obviously, like I said earlier, the pandemic is not over in any way, shape, or form. Like, you know, it seems like every time the pandemic is taking one foot forward and us being, okay, we're going back to normal, something happened, like that Omicron thing this week. So yeah, we don't know. We're just sitting this one out. As soon as we have like a more like certain, like the company is willing to say, we'll commit, yes, we're doing this, then everybody in the club will be the first to know. But like right now, unfortunately, we have no idea.
I think that's a fair answer. All right. So this is kind of an open question to you guys from Toy Joy. Is there any chance that the designers might swap brands in the future? So one of you take over somebody else's brand and vice versa. And anybody have a thought about a swap, a design swap?
Yeah.
I think what makes that, well, okay. I think right. So I think everybody is number one, everybody's so invested in their characters and what they do. That would be a difficult thing to do. That's like, here, take my kid for a couple years and raise it. Like it's a little that, right?
Yeah.
It's also the way the timing works and the way you have to work on things. That would actually be really difficult because you would be sort of having to design the stuff you normally design and kind of figuring out what you're doing for this next thing. Because we're working on stuff for next year already. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that would be just a really tricky thing to do, besides all of the sentimental like feelings and attachments that everybody has to their particular characters. You know, I think it's different for me because I don't really have, like, I've inherited sculpts for the things I've done, right? You know, I didn't create Misaki. I didn't create the sculpts for the new fantasy stuff. So, so that's a different thing. But I think that, you know, if I did have something like that, it would be difficult. So I don't know that it would be out of the question, but I think it would be, I don't know. It would be interesting.
All right.
He worked on all the lines.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. All right.
Screw these Pollyannas. I do New Face.
All right.
And Jesse would do Poppy. Let me tell you, he would turn her out too.
I like Poppy too.
Poppy with the harness bra, right?
Oh gosh.
All right, just kidding, Poppy. We don't want to offend you. All right, so quick fire question. I'm going to go around for all of you. This is from Angeline Busky. What is your favorite color and why? Jesse.
Purple. I've always loved purple. I don't know.
All right, well, the obsession convention's right in your palette then. David?
Blue. Yeah. Blue.
Any reason?
I've always loved blue. It's like even my character I created was Rufus Blue. There's like blue. Blue is always, I've always associated with blue my entire lifetime. So
it's your beautiful baby blue eyes.
Okay.
Mark.
Pink.
Ah.
And like every shade. I love pink.
Any reason? Or just?
I don't know. I've just always responded to it. I just think it's really just a happy color. That's so cliche, but I don't know. I just love it. I love that it can be sexy. It can be sweet. It can be kind of anything, you know?
Vaughn?
For me, I kind of have two, blue and black.
Okay. Alen?
I love every shade of black, honey. Every shade. Dark black, pale black, slightly grayish black.
Oh, Lord.
Midnight, ebony.
I love it. Exactly. I really, really do. I mean, it's just my closet looks like a funeral home. So yes, I just really do. Like, it's just, for me, like, it's like it's been my default go-to for clothing, for everything. It's just, I always feel awkward every time I go to a clothing store and I'm like, yeah, I kind of like this. Yeah, maybe this red shirt. And then I'm never sure. It's just, maybe I'm just lazy with colors. I love black. Black is just, yes, black.
Chris.
That's my color.
Green for sure. It always has been, and I don't wear it very often. But like, I love trees. I love emeralds. So like, there's just something about green that has always been my favorite color.
All right.
My dad's too. Actually.
All right. We're gonna go around. What sculpt or character are you most inspired by today, Chris?
I think probably the Victoire sculpt used as Stella, I would say.
Alen?
That's my favorite.
Well, I mean, everybody's going to expect me to say Agnes. I love Agnes, but I also love the Riot/Ace head sculpt for the guys. That's my favorite one for the men. So I have two. So basically Ace and Agnes. Those are my two favorite.
All right, Vaughn?
Ooh. Does it have to be from my own collection or not?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Then in that case, I would probably say Nadja, the 2.0. And in the guys, probably Declan.
Mark?
Poppy. I love Poppy so much. I have the most Poppy of any doll in my collection. And any version of Tula Bell. I love them all. Love.
David?
I've been into Ginger lately because I'm trying to figure out new things with her, and also the Bellamy sculpt.
And Jesse, what about you?
This is hard. I always go back between Reina and Nadja, but then Alejandra's in the mix now, and Violaine. I don't know. I can't pick.
All right, we won't press you on that one. All right, so a last question before a final word. What's the one thing you wish collectors knew or understood better? David, I'll start with you.
Oh, can I show you an example?
I don't know. Can you show us an example?
Anytime we would have this kind of question, I'm not in my office, but I'm in my office is where I design everything.
Okay,
and I have all my stuff right here, so I can literally show you stuff. So
is it stuff we've already seen?
No, it's not a project. It's not a project. It's one of the things I was gonna explain is that there's been some stuff online about people have been asking about hair fibers.
Yes, please go ahead.
Saran and nylon and our usage of it and things. And so I was going to show them a visual of our choices of saran. If
please, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So this is the Saran book. This is the company, Saran. There's just one. They provide the hair. That's it. Just one. If they don't make it, we don't get it. So used to be that we had this book. When I started with this company, we had this book. It's 2 pages. When I open it up, you'll see it. And it used to be 2 full pages. One is all natural hair colors. 4. It was 4 originally. Yeah, then it went down to 2. But when it was like fold and a fold again, I forgot. And it was like natural, and then it went like fantasy hair colors. This is the most recent version of this book that we have. Okay, so this is no lie. I'm not bullcrapping you. This is literally our choices for hair color for Saran. This is it. Okay, everybody. So this is Saran. This is all we have to choose from, unless we have some stuff left over in inventory. But if we wanted to order anything new, this is our selection here. Okay? So we have to have an alternative because that's not enough hair colors for all the projects we want to work on. So our best option for us is a product called Q Hair, which is what you all also refer to as like nylon. So if you were presented with what you just saw as a choice, and I don't mean to be snarky, but maybe a little bit. Here is our choices.
Oh, yeah.
These are our options with the other hair fiber.
This is a very good show and tell, David.
I love it.
So this allows you to see that we have all these colors to choose from in this book, and that's all we have in Saran. So if Saran had all of these colors, we would use Saran. But we don't have all those colors in Saran anymore. It's not an option for us.
Mm-hmm.
So the second best option for us is this book. And you can see why. So
we need you all to write a letter to the Mr. Saran company and tell them that you want more colors if you want more colors.
Yeah, and actually, it's not just us. If you'll notice, other manufacturers are also using these same nylon hair fibers in their because that's the option we have to work with. So if we could, get those other colors, we would, but we can't. So this is our best option. This hair fiber is versatile still. It can curl. It's wonderful straight.
It's great to create bouffant gem hair. Like gem looks amazing because exactly, it keeps the shape better.
Trixie's hair is like as big as it is because of it. So,
all right.
Trixie's leaving to go to China on Monday, so say goodbye to her. She's going to go to the factory on Monday.
All right, that was very, very helpful. Jesse, what is it that you wish the collectors knew or understood better?
I think my main thing is that I wish people could understand, or I guess I realize more that our vision is filtered down through so many people in a way, because we're dependent on so many artisans and people to make your vision come to life. And while it's easy to be like, oh, I would have done this or I would have done that, or girl, what was she thinking? Like, there's so many factors that go into that it makes so many moving parts. It makes it very difficult for it to be fully 100% what you envision. Like, we get to a point where we're satisfied, yeah, but like that's the thing that I feel like I just want everybody to know and realize, beat that to the ground. Like,
no, I think that's a super important point. Mark, what is it that you wish collectors knew better?
One, like, kind of piggybacking on what Jesse said, like, fabrics also is another thing that's really difficult. It's because you can picture fabric in your head does not mean that when I go to look for it and find it, like on the swatches, that it's going to be there. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you have to adapt and change, and things you would have liked to have done in a different color, you can't, because my Adele, like, I needed to find a fur and a satin and a lining that all were in the same sort of purple family. So that's difficult, or all in the same color family. So like the purple one was the best choice, which I loved, but it's like, that's a difficult thing to do. There was one other thing. That was, dang it.
I'll come back to you.
I can't remember.
I'll come back to you. Chris.
Two things. I think one thing a lot goes into the pattern making and the sample making, and a lot of revisions, because the factory, if they're doing the patterns, don't always quite understand the silhouette you want, and it can be very frustrating trying to get the silhouette just right. And I don't think that I think they think it just pops out fully formed, and there's a lot of work goes into the pattern making and the sample making, and even making sure that it works in a certain fabric, because you may have to switch fabrics because not everything works in a certain fabric. So there's a whole lot goes into making that little dress. Even if it's a very simple dress, it doesn't mean that the pattern was simple to help.
Yes.
So
Mark,
I think that's
Mark, did you remember?
I did. Yeah. I surprised myself. No, it's kind of like what you were saying at the beginning too, where we are always designing something with we want you to love it, So just remember that, like, you don't have to like everything, nobody's asking everybody to like everything, but we do hope that everybody likes something. So I think that's something to kind of keep in mind too. You know, we're never trying to make an ugly doll. So I think
that's very well said, Mark.
Yeah,
yes, I like ugly things.
Appreciate the transparency on that.
Even if you don't like the doll,
you might hate it, and you might think
you might hate it, and exactly. And you know what? It's okay. We'll make.
We didn't mean for it. We don't mean that.
No, exactly, and it's perfectly okay. You might not like something, but the next person might like it. You don't let the other person enjoy it.
Let me add on to that. Is just that I think that sometimes people forget the variety of collectors that we have that all come from different backgrounds and different geographies and different likes. So the diversity here in part of the diversity is just the breadth of the different lines and having different things to appeal to everyone. You're not necessarily meant to like everything. Like we hope that you do, but not everything is going to appeal to every collector. And you have to understand that the collecting experience is about meeting the needs of all of the collectors, which is very difficult to do.
Somebody's grail might be somebody else's doll that they have wiped the face clean and ripped the hair out. And we're like, I hate it. I'm going to redo it. So.
Vaughn, what is the one thing you wish collectors understood better?
I wish that they understood the whole dynamic, or however, of how the face paints are done. Because I mean, I see a lot of people complain about, oh, you know, my doll's face paint is crooked and this and that, this and that. And what I wish they would understand is that all of this is done by hand. It's not done with a computer. It's, you know, this one guy who takes the face paint and then dips like a pin into ink and traces out the outline and then pushes the face paint into like a piece of copper. Then he's got to like drill the little hole to like.
Vaughn, you know what? I have one. Do you want me to get it?
Yeah. And like, because it's all done by hand, it's never going to be perfectly symmetrical.
It's like watchmaking. Yeah, it's like watchmaking. It's
like Jesse and I, especially, like the factory has told us numerous times, like they hate us.
Look, guys, there's like 20 of these for each face.
And they have to layer each layer on top of each other and make sure that it's
and those the cutout stencils are not like, that's what Vaughn's saying. Like those little cutouts are all done by hand. That's not a computer that's like, you know, precisely
like they're not laser cut. Yeah, they're not laser cut
and
or
it's
anything.
like once you put
put
one layer on top of another, you don't see the layer that's underneath.
That's Natalia, by the way.
Yeah.
That's which one is that?
Natalia Enamorada.
Is it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So
the mysterious Enamorada.
Little flash dots. Like, look at how crazy that is.
So they can't see what's underneath. So they can't see if they've aligned things properly or not. They try, but like I said, that's the one thing I wish collectors would take into account a little bit more. I mean, like I said, we're also picky, you know, and we have also told the factories, like, okay, this is what what you need to aim for. But there are times that, you know, things slip through the cracks. It happens. I mean, as someone who used to go to China and do inspections myself, I can tell you, like, and I think I've said this before, when you look at 50 face paints, after that first 50, everything is either all good or everything is either all bad.
I can attest to that. Yes.
After you look at that first 50.
Yeah.
So...
And I would also just say too that in terms of, you know, doing it that way, well, someone would say, well, why do you still do it that way? And part of the reason is why we've tried to use technology to shorten the process and to make it more symmetrical. The perception from the collectors has been that it's not as special, or that it's a shortcut, or it's a cheapening. Yeah. And even though that's not the case, the perception becomes the reality.
I just want to add a little something. Again, you know, we are trying different things, and we decided to try our hand at having a computer-generated face paint. And the result is what everybody says they don't like with a certain other brand, where everything is super pixelated. Um, we tested it twice, and we were like, okay, well, maybe we can try again. But I got a phone call from China earlier this week, and they were like, yeah, basically, no, it's not going to happen because this is the best that they can do with the machines that they have.
But the technology is evolving, though.
Like, yes.
I want to keep an open mind.
Yeah,
it is evolving.
It is evolving.
It is the future. So it's just not there yet.
For where it is right now, we don't think most of our collector base would want a doll with like pixelated eyebrows and pixelated lips and pixelated eyeshadows.
But 20-odd 5 years ago, inkjet printers were horrible. Now you can get inkjet,
hold on a second.
Yes. Anyway, I was just saying, inkjet printers were horrible.
No, it's good. I mean, I think this is important. These are the things that collectors, I think, help to understand the process. It helps to help them understand the cost. It helps them to understand why things take so long. And certainly, as you guys can imagine, as you showed Jesse with those different face plates, as our production numbers have increased because you guys want more dolls to meet our increased demand, it becomes harder and harder to get, that perfection or close to perfection with the hand face paints.
Well, go ahead. Hold on, before you show anything on there, I'm seeing comments about the hair rooting. So hair rooting is also done by hand, guys. Like, it's not a machine. Like, it's literally a human being that takes every single doll head one by one and turns it. So, yeah. Oh, that's the test second test that we ran, right?
Yes.
So I basically, what I did, I took one of JC's face paints and I retraced it in Adobe Illustrator, and then they took that artwork and then they ran it through the computer that generated, and then it's printed with it's almost like an inkjet printing method, but it's paint instead of ink. And that's the result we got. So the lips aren't on that one. I don't think they did the lips.
No,
right?
they didn't do the lips, but it's super duper pixelated, especially the whites of the eyes.
Okay. I think the point's been made.
Yes. There you
All right. So Len, what is it that you wish the collectors better understood?
Oh, honey. Reading and comprehension. I think that would be on my top list.
Please do explain, because it's a fair point. So please do explain.
So you and I work. I mean, how many hours a day are we on the phone together, Carol?
Far too many for my liking.
There you go. So the amount of back and forth, the amount of I know everybody thinks that the W Club emails are too wordy, too long, this and that, but I mean, we are the only company out there, and it's something Carol and I are I think the entire team, we're all very proud of this. We do things in a certain way, and we bring you guys product that are different than any other offering. Like, David collects fashion dolls, I collect action figures. I follow everything that's going on in the toy industry. It's my specialty. I've been in the toy industry for 25 years of my career at this point. We're the only company on earth right now that offers the marketing platform, everything we do, it's very unique to us. Other companies have tried to copy us. It doesn't work. Every time they try, they fail. There's a reason why we're successful at what we're doing. We also try to give you guys as much information as we possibly can, but nobody reads anything. So it's kind of a big problem, because then nobody follows rules. Nobody follows anything. And then we have to act as Integrity Toys or W Club World Police. So that is my big thing. Please read the emails, because 99.9% of the time when we sent you guys an email, the answer that you're confused about is right there. You just didn't read it. So literally on a daily basis, we get emails from customers that literally just ask us to retype for them what the email says. Like it's almost like we need a one sentence translating for an email that's this long. So that's my pet peeve. If honestly, if the entire customer base could just please, even just out of respect for us, for the time that we spend to try to give you guys something that is extra special, please read what we send you. It's easy. You'll enjoy everything better. Your questions will be answered. You're honestly I don't even know how to stress it. Just please read what we send out. It's just as simple as that. But I need to turn the table on this question though, because Carol is here, and like I said, Carol does this with me. So my dear, please tell us what would you like people to understand?
So I think what I'd like for people to understand the most is that everything that we do has been done with like so much thought and so many permutations that whatever we put out is not as a result of we haven't thought of something. It's because we couldn't probably do it for some reason, or there's some business reason that you guys don't know behind the scenes that we have to do something a certain way. And so, like if you knew the strategic chess that like even just an email goes through on our team, and looking at it from every different possibility, and what could somebody not like, and what is somebody going to say about this, and what issue are we dealing, and are we thinking about the European collectors, and are we considering what the Australian collectors, and do we, all these, like literally every like decision that's made, from like what dolls go into the club versus the regular lines versus everything is debated to a point where it's actually comical. Like I wish you guys could kind of see it, because like there's so much brain damage, and then we'll put it out and just be like, oh well, why didn't they think of X, Y, and Z? Well, we did think of X, Y, and Z, and like 9 other permutations. But because of all these constraints and these things that these guys have been generously sharing, there's a reason why it couldn't be done that way, or based on serving the needs of all the collectors, this is the best way we can do it. And as you know, like we polled you all the time, we get your feedback. I mean, we even debated the date of the convention. Like anything it is, we always bring you into the loop. But like everything, I promise you, has been thought of, debated, looked at under a microscope, turned sideways, and nobody's doing anything because we haven't thought of it.
Yeah, exactly.
It just fundamentally can't be done. So.
And I'm going to send props in Carol's direction, because like what you don't know is that Carol is probably the most intelligent person I know, and she genuinely has a knack for thinking about 27 steps ahead of any of us, and that is one of her forte as a business person, as a small business owner. I mean, my God, she's written books about the topic. Like Carol knows her stuff. So like, I kind of like leave the marketing to us. Like we kind of know what we're doing. That's as simple as that. Like I think we've got like a really high array of talent on this team, and just enjoy the dollies. I think just enjoy the hobby. We're here to bring you this hobby, and we work so hard for it. We'll keep doing that. We're not going anywhere.
All right. So before, I know everyone wants to get to the final doll unveil. Before we do that, you guys have shared so generously. You've given us a peek behind the scenes, like all this stuff. Final words for the collectors. So Vaughn, I'll kick it off with you.
I just want to thank everyone for the support that they've given us, their patience. I'm hoping that the situation with the pandemic and all these variants will come to an end, hopefully by the spring of next year. And with that, hopefully I can go back to China and try to get things back on track. So I just appreciate everyone for their patience and their support, and I hope that they continue to give it to us for next year.
Very well said. Alain.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, I don't want people to feel that I'm putting everyone in the same basket. Like I love everyone. I know we just like did some little house cleaning here, but like I'm hoping that like the company will keep growing. Like like I said, we love what we do, and we're just going to keep doing what we do best. And it's all that we can do. Give you the best of ourselves. That's it.
Awesome. Jesse.
Miss you guys. Wish you could see each other soon. Not quite the same being virtual, but hopefully soon once all this mess is, put behind us. But thank you so much for continuing your support and enthusiasm and making our jobs, possible.
Chris.
Well, I just want to thank everyone. I think we have some of the most dedicated collectors ever, and especially my East 59th peeps. Love you all. Miss you all. I really miss seeing everybody every year, and just want to give everybody big hugs when I do see them. So thanks again.
Yay. Mark.
Yeah, just thank you to everybody. I've this year in particular, I've had more releases and kind of been around a little bit more, and the comments and little messages that I've gotten they're really meaningful, and so thank you for all of that to everybody who's just been so lovely and supportive, and it's great. And thank you for collecting our dolls, because that's you let us do this really cool job. So I don't know, it's such a strange thing because like just talking into the air, but I know you guys are all out there, and it'll just be nice to be able to see people in person again. But just thank you for being there. Thank you for collecting. Thank you for being enthusiastic and supportive and wonderful.
David, last word to you.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for the support over the years. I'm so glad you all love Poppy as much as you do, and really looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day, so stay tuned, and I hope you'll like what you see tomorrow. And thanks again for everything.
Thank you, guys. You're amazing to work with. Again, thank you for sharing so generously, and we have more to see from you. Jesse, we're going to keep you with us, and we'll say goodbye to everyone else. So bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
All right, Jesse. So before we get to the giveaway for today, just going back to the quote unquote centerpiece that everybody needs to buy, is there anything? And who's our friend?
This is Ducky. This is my dog.
Hi.
She woke up from a nap. She's sitting behind me the whole time.
So what was there anything on the inspiration for MVP Reina that we didn't hit?
I mean, you said everything perfectly. I just need to go to bed now at this point, because you hit all the marks. Talked about the silhouette. You were totally right about that exaggerated shoulder. I wanted it to look like there was padding under there, like protective padding. Just the little pants, that was the focal point of the look, is the little football inspired pants. But since that length was kind of like a little capri length, I wanted to have like a little kitten heel mule to kind of set that off and give it like a little bit of a vintage flair to it. I don't know, it was kind of coquettish, so I really like that. What else? What can we say about her? I don't know.
She's amazing. She's amazing. Oh, yay!
Oh, she's right there. There you go.
How
Right
cute!
here.
All right, super excited for her. And then we have one more doll left to go. So what is our inspiration for, and let me just say, this is the one that we're going to unveil now. This is the giveaway. So this is included in the price of the ticket for your event tonight. You will just have to pick it up and pay for shipping. And we'll send you that information afterwards. But what was the inspiration, Jesse?
So the inspiration for this one was more of this motocross kind of vibe. I wanted to do something that was a little bit more daring, and just in terms of like the clothing and the beauty look, just because the giveaways I think are a chance to give people something that they may not know they even want, right? So I think that's like the fun part, to experiment with these. And yeah, I did this particular character in a way that I've never done before, and I've always wanted to do it similar to this, so I was like, hey, why not? This is a perfect opportunity.
All right, well, we're having the drum rolls coming through, so let's unveil.
Right. There you go.
Adrenaline Rush Dominique Makeda, and she is fierce. She is Nubian, I know, with black flocked hair, but tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done an Adele. Here am I going again? This Dominique in this deep of a skin tone, and I just think her facial features are so beautiful, and I think this deep skin tone just illuminates all of that. Like I said, I went a little bit more daring with her look in terms of, you'll see in the other slides where her makeup, it's kind of like this graphic white liner.
She's so amazing.
Something that like just evoked more of a daring sensibility, given that it was more to motocross, and there's more of like, I don't know, more of that grit, more of that just like hyper energy.
I love it. I love the fierceness that she's delivering, and I think this is something that people have been asking for, and so glad that we've delivered it for the W Club. Let's see her outfit in a little bit more detail.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it so much. So like, can we just talk about these pants and the shoes and the whole thing, because it's unbelievable.
Yeah, these little pants are kind of like a stirrup situation going on, and they have an elastic that kind of hooks into the high heel to kind of anchor it.
Oh my God.
It's like slid up to her knee. This acid green kind of detailing on the top stitch and the zippers that are at her hips. Like I said, purple's my favorite color, and I wanted a color combination that was kind of just like a little bit shocking and kind of evoke little evil vibes at the same time.
She is just so wow. And what I love about New Face is that you're able to take those kind of risks and it fits in so well with the line and with the characters. Let's talk about some of these accessories. I love the little like melting earrings. Can you talk about that?
She's going so fast, her earrings done melted. That's what's happening with that. Those hands actually are, when you take off the fabric part, they're just kind of like little fingerless gloves. The bottom part of it is purple as well. And the shoes are just a pump with the translucent heel in the same green as the rest of the outfit. Yeah.
She's amazing. And so the stirrups on the pants, which are so cool, do they go over the shoe, like under the heel, or they go inside the shoe?
They can go inside the shoe, but it's more secure on the high heel, and it kind of just gives it more of a little bit of a different styling effect. You can do either.
It's amazing, amazing. And I love the fact that you chose the Nubian skin tone and just this fierce look for Dominique and for her return. And guys, you are all getting her. As I said, you just have to pick her up with the link and pay for shipping that we will send out after. Just a tremendous collection and such an interesting inspiration, I have to say. Like when we think about Obsession, the fact that you were able to take this, kind of sports athletic thing and make it so high end and high fashion, like I have to say, it blows my mind.
Thanks. I've been wanting to, touch upon the sports aspect for a while, and I figured, hey, it's Obsession. They're all obsessed with different, sports and facets of those sports. And they all just want to, give a look that evokes the energy of each.
And we have a little video quickly, like I can.
Oh yeah, I took a little video.
Oh yeah. Oh, look at her. Servant looks. Wow.
A little, but yeah.
I love the little.
As Alen said earlier, Jesse Ayala, you understood the assignment.
Exactly.
You really
She's
did.
got I love the little like NF tag on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Like it's very sportswear.
There's little, like,
it's very cute.
Stripes in that too.
It reminds me almost of like the like kind of the surfer gear too. Like
there's a slight scuba element to this.
Yeah, yeah. I forget the name of it, but there was that really cool brand, like back in the day.
Body glove.
Body glove. Yeah. It's got a little bit of that edge with the motocross, and she is just amazing. Love it. And again, so everybody here, just to reiterate, Dominique comes with your event ticket that you've already paid for, so you just need to pick her up and pay the shipping, and then if you decide to, can also purchase the Reina. That is an opportunity for every one of you, and there's just a deposit, and she is going to be made to order. So Jesse, well done.
Thank you so much.
All right, Alen, and other than telling everyone to read your W Club email, Alen is going to come to get you.
Exactly.
Anything else that you would like to say again in closing here?
No, I'm good. I mean, the first day of convention is over. We'll be sending you emails in a few minutes containing all the a recap of everything you just saw. And for those who actually attended the event, you'll also get like the links to pre-order the centerpiece and then to pay the shipping on your wonderful gift or like your doll that was included in the package to watch this event. And tomorrow we have another full packed day, like with the Style Lab reveal, and then the
and Style Lab just to be clear, because I know some people were confused. And again,
it's for just for main yes, correct.
Convention package holders. So tomorrow we'll have the Style Lab reveal and the Poppy event combined. Yes. And obviously to W Club members, you will get that recap after we're finished with that. And then final gala tomorrow night. So we are just like moving through this convention.
Exactly.
But
so there's more Dolly goodness on the way for main convention package owners. Yes.
Fabulous.
And
All right.
thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks to you guys. I didn't get sort of a chance to say my last piece, but again, the W Club event is super special because it's for you guys, and you really appreciate your passion for the brand, the feedback that you give, and this is all about your love of the dolls, and so it's a privilege to represent your voice and do everything we can to make all of you happy some of the time. That's our motto. That's our motto. At any rate, have a wonderful, depending on what time it is, rest of your evening, rest of your day, go back to sleep, whatever it is. And for those of you in the rest of the convention, we will see you tomorrow morning. And otherwise, we will talk to you guys soon.
Bye-bye. Thank you,
guys.
everyone. Bye.